From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, 3 days in a row of lovely weather. Well, that stretch coming to an end. Tomorrow, not a bad day. I think we see a little sun early in the day, clouds dominating by day's end, winds picking up late tomorrow, and then tomorrow night winds increasing. You'll know something's up going into Thursday. Severe weather threat on Thursday, and once again, a substantial threat of severe weather. And just because we didn't see severe storms on Saturday with that same forecast doesn't mean that we're not going to see those kind of storms this coming Thursday. Remember last week's system, we had severe weather in Texas and fatalities from Texas into Mississippi and Alabama and points to the north and east. Louisiana was spared. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's a sharper trough, less dry air to work with, and maybe the dynamics certainly overcome the cooler marine layer of the Gulf of Mexico. But here's the next troublemaker. That's going to be pushing eastward, igniting storms across Texas tomorrow and then Louisiana into Thursday. Out ahead of that, flash flood watch already in effect for the northwestern part of the state, suggesting this is going to see the most rain, and they got the most rain with this weekend's weather system. So they're on guard for the possibility of some localized heavy rainfall on top of severe weather. So starting for tomorrow, big severe weather threat from the Texas Hill Country just north of San Antonio through Austin, Dallas, and then into Oklahoma. Supercell thunderstorms capable of producing large hail, the big baseball-sized hail, and maybe damaging winds, and a few isolated tornadoes as well. Now, notice the green edge of this. That does edge into Louisiana, so a marginal risk of severe storms pre-dawn hours Thursday. This until 7 a.m., but then as we get into Thursday, especially the afternoon hours, that's when storms are going to be firing up, and there's an enhanced risk of severe storms for most of Acadiana, and those storms could be capable of not only producing damaging winds, but an isolated strong tornado or two, and a strong tornado is EF2 or stronger. That's 111 miles an hour or stronger, so something that we'll be watching. And it looks like this part of Louisiana into southwestern Mississippi may be where these the worst storms manifest, but we'll just have to wait and see how things play out. Still early in the game. Near term, though, fair to partly cloudy skies through tomorrow morning. Temperatures much milder, lower 60s for a low. It should be 70 by 9 o'clock, and then in the afternoon we'll be pushing into the lower 80s. You'll also notice the wind beginning to kick up, and we'll talk more about that in just a bit. Then as we head into Thursday, strong storms up toward the Arklatex and down through eastern Texas. So most of us should be relatively quiet morning hours, but then we get into lunchtime. It looks like a little bit of a squall line begins to develop by mid-morning, and watch what happens through noon. Could see an isolated severe storm or two northwestern sections of Acadiana, and then another squall line developing here. But first off, this is a two-pronged event where we might see individual storm cells developing out ahead of the main squall system, and these could be rotating storms that could produce wind damage and tornadoes. And then you see how the storms pushing through the area 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So strong to severe storms, and they look even nastier as you get into Mississippi. Storms will begin to wind down late afternoon, early evening, and then after 7 o'clock it should quiet down, and we'll be back to a nice breezy and comfortable condition going into Friday. As for rainfall, quick look at some of the models here. The RPM rain potential going for a couple of inches of rain, 1 to 2. The European model saying a little bit less here locally, a little bit more to the north, so we think this might be a little bit more accurate, but we'll get a better beat on that for tomorrow, but not expecting flooding. So here's the winds tomorrow. Out of the south, gusty at about 15 to 18, maybe up to 20 tomorrow afternoon. Winds picking up offshore as we head into tomorrow night, and then into Thursday, we're going to see tides coming up along the coast, inundation down at Sippermore Point, and maybe a couple of feet of water again, just like this past Saturday, and then winds could be gusting as high as 40 to 45 out ahead of those storms, and thereafter things quiet down. But it's going to be another windy day Thursday, so a pleasant evening tonight. 62 your low, 81 the high tomorrow, with mostly cloudy skies for the afternoon, but a few intervals of sun and those winds picking up. And then Thursday, a weather alert day for sure, a 90% chance of rain and storms, and the potential for severe weather. I would expect tornado watches for the area on Thursday. Weekend looking much better.
All right, thanks, Rob.